Hello. I've gotten a few requests to explain how I get images from my picture books to my computer. So these directions are how to do that from an iPhone to a Mac. It's going to be a little different depending on the device that you're on. So the first thing I do is I create a folder in my desktop, on my desktop, to for the images to go into. So I do Control click. I click on New Folder, and then I name that folder. And so I'm going to Control click and go to Rename. And the book I'm going to be putting in is called Roxaboxen. I also make sure that I have AirDrop set up on my computer. So go to Finder. If you haven't done this before, you can go to AirDrop. Make sure that your Bluetooth is on and that you're discoverable. So like if my Bluetooth were off, it's going to say, oh, turn on Bluetooth. And then also you want to make sure that it doesn't say, allow me to be discovered by no one. You want it to be everyone or contacts only. You want to be able to see your own cell phone on there, and you're going to see it's going to show up. So then I'll go and I'll take pictures with my iPhone. I do that during the day because daylight, I think, it gives the best quality pictures. And I make sure that, my camera is straight because I don't want to have to crop anything. I think it's okay for people to see the edges of the book or maybe even your fingers holding down the page because this is a real book viewing experience. We're not trying to produce a ebook here. And I usually take pictures of single pages, but sometimes the art really needs a 2-page spread, so I do that as a 2-page spread. Okay, so now I have my pictures on my iPhone. I need to get them into my computer. So I'm going to AirDrop them. And you can see my phone just showed up on the screen. And I am selecting images in my camera roll. I found, I can get like 12 to 15 pictures in at one time. You might have to play around with it a little bit depending on your connection. And once you've AirDropped it, it's going to show up on your screen. Any second, you're going to get a question. And it says, do you want to have it in photos? No, we don't want it in photos. We're just going to say accept, and it's going to go right into our downloads folder. You can see I have that here. I've switched over to my downloads folder, and I have some images coming in. Now, I do these in batches, so I've done a few images. I'm going to do a few more images, just so you can see they're going to continue to come in through AirDrop. And sometimes the questions look a little bit different. Now that I'm in downloads, it gives me this, which is also asking me to accept it, and I'm going to say save it to downloads. So I'm not putting it in photos, I'm putting it in downloads. And downloads almost always, I think, is set up for the most recent downloads to come in. But if yours is for whatever reason in alphabetical order something, if you do Control click, you can choose sort by, and you want it to be sort by date added. So all of your most recent images are all here, and they're going to be in the order you took the pictures. It's great to take your pictures in order, not out of order. But if you need to, you can also rename all your files in order. So I'm going to minimize this so that I can see part of my desktop now. So I can see all my images, and then, over here I have my folder that I created. So I'm going to click at the first image, and then I'm going to hold down the Shift key, click on the last image, and drag those things into my Roxaboxen folder. You could work in your downloads folder, but I find that confusing. So I open up Roxaboxen, I make it full screen, and you'll notice a couple things right away. You can see that I have this big central image, and I have all the pages down here in the order that I took them, and you can see things are upside down. If yours doesn't look like this, if you look up here at the top, you can see there are lots of different ways to view the files in a folder, and I'm picking this one. Then I'm going to go through and I'm going to rotate my image so that it's right side up. I'm left-handed, so the way I hold the camera makes everything upside down. So I go through and I put things in the right order. There is not a cropping tool here, so here's why you want to make sure that you've taken your pictures fairly straight, and you don't have a lot of excess stuff in them. And in this book was a little bit different. I felt like there's a lot of pages that I felt like I had to hold down with my fingers. I think that looks fine because, again, this is you really reading a book. And then I try and make my image as big as possible. You can see if I hover over this line, I start out with an arrow and then I get the double-headed arrow and I try and move things over. You can sometimes it might look like this on your computer. You can make it bigger, try and shove everything over so that your image is as big as possible. And your pages are in order automatically if you took the pages in order. So then if I use my arrow key, I can just arrow through and, oh, I got an upside down one, and read the pages either right off the screen, or you can hold the book if you need to and read the pages along. So I minimize my screen again by doing, when you maximize it, you push the green button, you can see the whole screen. You can come over here and minimize, or you can hit the escape key. It's going to make it small. You open up Google Chrome and you start your Screencastify. And once your recording starts, you need to choose the record whole desktop, that whole screen, record whole screen option. Then once the recording starts, you can come over here and maximize your book and start making your video. I hope that helped. Of course, you can call me if you need any assistance.